Visibly frail at 76, Florence Mugasha has a sharp memory. After an illustrious life in the public service and private sector, she only has one regret. She wishes she had been a judge.
I had been admitted for law at Dar es Salaam University. Of course, I was in love. I said, there is no way I'm going to Dar es Salaam. There's something about judges and lawyers I admire. Up to now.
Perhaps the root of Mugasha's modesty can be traced back to the fact that her father was an interpreter to British evangelists. It was in Mbarara that her father, Amunyoro, met her mother, Amunyankore, and they had 13 children, 12 girls and 1 son.
Of course, he was under pressure to marry in order to get a boy. But my father resisted. He was a born-again Christian.
Mugasha attended Mbarara Girls School, Chebambe Girls Secondary School for Junior Secondary, Mary Hill High School, and then Mount St. Mary's College, Namagunga, for her A-levels.
My father had to lose a job when the missionaries left. The Bunyoro government came in and they gave me a bursary, and I studied on a bursary from S1 to S6.
She graduated from Makerere University in October 1972 with a second-class upper degree in public administration and management. At the time, she was married to the man who was the reason why she did not pursue her law degree. She was posted to the office of the president as an assistant secretary. Although Mugasha was too junior to interact with President Apollo Milton Obote, she admits he had qualities that she admired.
We appreciated his accent. He was speaking very good English. He looked educated, although he had dropped out. And of course, as young girls and boys, we were all up looking forward to communism. It was the politics of the day.
The 1971 coup d'etat by then Colonel Idi Amin did not disrupt her work. The new president did not interrupt with his staff's schedules.
Amin didn't touch the administrators. He was more interested in the politicians. Of course, we were discouraged to be in functions where Amin was, especially young women and young girls.
During the 1970s, she was posted to the Ministry of Agriculture in Entebbe and then later to the Ministry of Cooperatives, based at Farmers House. A combined force of Tanzania People's Defense Forces, or TPDF, and Ugandan rebel groups overthrew President Amin in a war that began in October 1978 when the Uganda army attacked and annexed the Kagera salient.
The communication was not so well spread. And of course, if you were found listening to the radio, you would get reprimanded. Because we almost got caught up in the office when the Tanzanians were just reaching Bombo.
On January 25, 1986, when the Victorious National Resistance Army, or NRA rebels, stormed Kampala, the administrator was in Manchester, in the United Kingdom, studying a master's degree in public administration and policy. Immediately she handed in her thesis, she was on a plane to Entebbe. She was posted in the Department of Animal Industries in Wandegeya. In 1986, she was promoted to Undersecretary and later promoted to Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Internal Affairs.
I became a Permanent Secretary when I was 38. And I was supervising Permanent Secretaries and Undersecretaries who were much, much older than I was. You needed to work double hard to make sure that they recognize your seniority and your status.
One of the tougher nuts to crack was the Inspector General of Police at the time, the late Luke Ofunji. At the time of her promotion, he had been a policeman for 35 years and had been IGP since 1979.
You would see him really being affected, salute you. But he had to salute and be at attention. But later on we became friends. I think he realized I was there to stay. So we worked together.
After the 1992 public service restructuring, Mugasha was appointed permanent secretary in the Ministry of Public Service. She became the secretary to cabinet.
Of course, cabinet, you live with a lot of secrets. And you have a partner, you know something is about to happen. And you are bumbling with that secret. It was hard. Even I wanted to write a book and they refused to clear me.
By the 1990s, Mugasha had been at a higher rank than her husband for a long time. She says sometimes this affected their marriage, especially the long hours she worked.
Sometimes we would attend cabinet up to 2 o'clock in the morning, opening that gate. Sometimes one time he told me, "What have you come to do? You may as well go back." It was at 5. But I was expecting it. I couldn't ring him. The president was cheering.
Gradually, though, her husband learned to accommodate her late coming, although he could not hide the fact that it was affecting him.
And of course, he was my friend, because we were in courtship for 8 years. So sometimes he would lose it and then realize he's hurting a friend.
He died in June 1999, leaving her with 4 children. In March 2000, the Commonwealth Secretariat advertised the position of Deputy Secretary General in charge of finance, administration and youth. After 35 years in public service, Mugasha felt it was time to move on.
I went to the president and told him I wanted to apply. He carelessly said, "It's okay, you apply," not knowing I was going to pass.
She took a flight to London that Friday, sat for the interview on Saturday morning, and by Sunday morning was arriving in Entebbe.
I got a call telling me I had passed. I made an appointment with the PPS to see the president. So when I broke the news, he couldn't believe it. He said, "What? You are not going until you select a new secretary to cabinet and a new deputy." Luckily enough, I gave him 4 names. He was able to select 2.
Working at the secretariat was an eye-opener.
Of course, here I would be in the background when the president is meeting heads of state. But here I was being the one meeting the heads of state. And I couldn't see myself going back to the public service.
And when she returned, she says the president offered to make her Minister of Public Service, but she tactfully turned him down. Her passion for education also inspired her to establish 2 private primary schools, Hillside Primary School in Nalia in Kampala City and Flobeto Nursery and Primary School in Hoima City.
And my father died a very fulfilled man. He used to go to the school and just look at it and enjoy it. People blamed him for having girls, but now I've proved them wrong.
In 2006, President Yoweri Museveni appointed Mugasha the first Chancellor of Uganda Management Institute. Gillian Nantume, NTV, Weekend Edition.